Hi friends, welcome to my channel Sudhavin Illam, all about life. Our getaway last weekend was Melkote. Melkote is one of the holy and sacred pilgrimages of South India, located in the Pandavapura taluk of Mandya district, Karnataka. Cheluva Narayana Swami temple and Yogi Narasimha Swami temple are the two iconic temples of Melkote. Every minute at the divine pilgrimage takes you to a divine transcendental and a pure blissful aura around. As per Google Maps, the distance between Bangalore and Mandya is 147.8 kilometers, which approximately takes 3 hours and 6 minutes, and from Mandya to Melkote, it is 39.2 kilometers, which takes around 57 minutes. The road till Mandya is smooth and hassle-free, lined with petrol bunks and restaurants. But from Mandya to Melkote, you don't get to see even a single restaurant, and the roads are quite bumpy, but not tough to navigate. Though in Melkote itself, there are plenty of messes serving authentic traditional food and many petty shops for water bottles, snacks and other minor essentials. The drive becomes extremely scenic once you enter the Mandya to Melkote road, with lush paddy and sugarcane fields on either side, with cattle grazing occasionally. You can see a big statue of Sri Ramanujacharya, who is said to be the founder of Yoga Narasimha Swami temple, welcoming you as you get closer to the temple. The temple gopura is noticeable at a distance due to its altitude, though the full splendor of the intricate job of the artists is visible with a close-in tour of the temple. The arch here confirms that you are on the right road and very close to the temple. This is the tariff collected for vehicles at the entrance of the temple. We pay 20 rupees for our car. As I have mentioned earlier, this Yoga Narasimha Swami temple is located atop a hillock. Vehicles can reach halfway through, from where you have to take a steep staircase of about 175 to 200 steps. If you choose to trek from the foothills, it would be about 400 steps. We witnessed some fascinating and colorful scenes here of a sannyasi, kids selling puja materials and buttermilk, a lady making wire baskets to earn and support her family. The steps are very rugged, narrow, and uneven in size, but the railings on either side help one to climb up and down safely. One has to be really fit to tread these steps and to get a darshana of Yoga Narasimha Swami. So here we have almost reached the entrance of the temple. Let's go inside and unravel what's in store for us. Sri Yoga Narasimha temple houses a very beautiful idol of Sri Yoga Narasimha, one of the incarnations of Lord Vishnu. History has it that this deity was installed by Bhakta Prahalada, who was rescued by Lord Narasimha himself from his demonic father, Hiranyakashyap. Pictures are allowed till this point. Here we have to switch off our mobiles and shut down our cameras if we have carried one. So here waiting in front of the sanctum sanctorium for the door to open and witness the Abhishekam of Lord Yoga Narasimha Swami. Do take a look at some interesting activities happening around us and kept us entertained while we were waiting to seek the blessings of Lord Yoga Narasimha Swami. Translation of what the priest explained to us when asked about the history of this temple. Bhakta Prahalada did penance and Narasimha Swami God gave him moksha and Udbhava Vara Prasada, which means whoever prays here gets their wishes fulfilled. As we came out of the Sanctum Sanctorium after a fulfilling darshana, we happened to see our good friends quenching their thirst and satiating their hunger. The view from this point is just amazing. This is the pond from which water is used to cleanse the deities and for other temple purposes. And these are the roads we traversed to reach the top of the hillock and visit the temple. We were impressed to see this young man climbing up the tree, picking up fresh flowers for the ensuing festival of the goddess in this town of temples. The downward trek is as exerting as it was climbing up. You have to be very careful when you climb up and down the stairs, as this route is inundated with monkeys and they're all ready to pounce on you when they see you carrying foodstuff. The next temple we visited was the Cheliva Narayana Swami temple. This temple is known as Dakshina Badri. It is said that once Badri Yatra is incomplete without visiting this temple. Cheliva Narayana is the name of the main deity worshipped here. It is said that Lord Krishna, Balarama and many other gods have worshipped this idol. We were not fortunate enough to seek darshana of the deity as the temple was closed for lunch. From Cheliva Narayana temple, we proceeded to another famous destination. This is the arch known as the Cheliva Devi Arch, through which we enter the Devi Vana or forest. At the end of the forest is the Dhanushkoti hill. This hill has a beaten track of steps, which is definitely a daunting job to climb. But once you do, you will be thankful, for the view on top is splendid. There are a few gazebos here and there where you can take a short respite after a laborious climb. As per the local people, it is believed that during Ramayana, Lord Rama and Sita Devi had stayed at this spot for some time during their exile period of 14 years. One day, when Sita Devi felt thirsty and informed Lord Ram as there were no other water sources nearby, it is believed that Lord Ram shot an arrow through the rock side and water gushed in, which Sita Devi quenched her thirst. Today, this spot attracts fair amount of visitors who come with their families and friends to enjoy the relaxing breeze over the hilltop. Though the steps are rugged, it's not tough to climb with a little effort. From Dhanushkoti, we moved ahead to the Akka-Tangi Kola. Kola meaning pond in Kannada, Akka meaning elder sister, and Tangi meaning younger sister. The elder sister wanted to build a water tank and she put her heart and soul into it, while the younger sister protested. So it happened that the pond created by the elder sister has water which is crystal clear and is used for consumption, whereas the pond created by the younger one has water which is brackish and is used for menial purposes like doing dishes, washing clothes, etc. Our folklore has so many stories which amuses us to no end. The exact period of these beautiful ponds are not known, but considering the historic nature of this temple town, it surely must be a several hundred years old. After we toured the temples, ponds and Dhanushkoti, we wandered off to this place. How I wish we public could keep such famous tourist attractions more cleaner without littering all over the place. The 4 incomplete pillars of Raya Gopuram of Melkote look stunning against the blue bright sky. Had it been complete, it would have turned out stupendous. There are many folklore around this structure, the most popular of them being a sculptor was challenged to complete the construction of the pillars and a tower over it overnight. The sculptor and his team seemed to be doing very well, when his rival, fearing defeat, played a trick. They rang the morning bell at 2 nights instead of 5 in the morning. Disappointed, the sculptor abandoned the work and the pillars stand incomplete to this day. What adds more to the immense popularity of this place is that it's a hot film shooting location. Being a fan of Rajinikanth, I was very thrilled when I heard that a few scenes from Thalapathy and Padayappa were shot here. After a good visual treat of this place of historical and spiritual significance, we started our journey back home, and we were surprised to realize that the wonder of this place didn't just end there when we came across this enthralling pond 5 to 6 kilometers away from Melkote. I believe you would have loved this video. If so, please do like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel Sudhavin Illam, all about life. Please do stay tuned for many more travel vlogs and exquisite recipes. Thank you for watching. Bye till we meet again.